Hello and welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Nonsense Retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick. Joining me equally as always is Devon.
I think King said it best once. I am both king and queen, best of both things.
Yeah. I like how we get a little reference to that this time. And yes, today we're talking about Season 3 of The Owl House in its entirety. But before we get too far into that, let's talk about we'll do our time-honored tradition of the nonsense, asinine, hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
I'm sorry, Rick, but were you about to say let's talk about our weeks?
No, let's talk about the hypotheticals.
Oh, okay.
As if we knew them beforehand.
Oh, fair enough. But yes, I've got a pretty simple one, which is kind of similar to something I've asked before, but not quite the same, so let's get to it. The Owl House is now finished, that's a fact. So, Rick, congratulations, you're in charge of making an Owl House video game. How do you do it? What genre is it? How do you play with that? Go.
It's got to be a collectathon, hasn't it? So
you and your fucking collectathons. Oh, okay, go on.
Well, it's either that or you make it into, well, you've got to have a 3D game, I believe, because I think a 2D game would be a bit trite at this point. So somewhere between collectathon and like an action RPG, because you've got your 4 glyphs, you can open them up, you can combo them in different ways, and that's going to be how you level up. So for combat, it's more like an action RPG that way, and it's like you do a little bit of experimentation and you unlock new powers that way. It also stops you from being too overpowered all the time, because you need to kind of have your version of MP is going to be the amount of paper that you've prepared in advance, which kind of recharges over time, I guess. You've got your little things that you find around the world, like stray talisman, and yeah, just like little quests that you go on and like relive some episodes and do things that are abandoned, like finding out the story behind the Bat Queen. Like that was something that was teased as something that Luce promised to do, and then it just never fucking happened because we didn't have enough time. And I'd probably make it so that you could take one of the friends with you, and they would like do things on your behalf, like in combat or snarking with you and things like that.
Yeah, we're going to bring along this party member. They don't do anything, they just talk a little bit.
They talk a little bit, and they'll fight a little bit with you. And depending on who they are, they might be able to give you a little bit of like movement benefits. So like for say for instance, Hunter, he's got the flash step, so he can take you with you on a flash step where you wouldn't be able to get somewhere on your own normally.
See, the game would immediately be broken because you'd be forced to take Gus everywhere because he's the only one who can reveal illusions.
Yep.
I shit you not, guys, there are video games that exist where it's like, here, you can take any of these partners, except if you take this partner, they do this one thing that no one else can, and by the way, that's the thing you need. That's the thing you need to 100% the game.
Yep. Man.
So am I right in assuming you'll be controlling Luz in this game?
Almost certainly.
Well, you're in charge, Rick, I'm asking.
Yeah, I think he would have to, because it's the only character who really has a growth arc from zero. I suppose later on you could have a guest episode with post losing their magic Lilith or Ida, because they've got the same power set at that point, plus their curse forms. But other than that, yeah, it generally plays the same. But yeah, that's going to be my game. I guess it probably would have the Owl House as a hub, but also Hexside as a secondary hub once you unlock that. But also Hexside is rife with things to do, so it's probably going to be like your first major world, I guess, like Lothric Castle would be.
I'll be honest with you, Rick, the way you've been describing this game, it sounds like you want to make a Lego game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which, I mean, they did Lego Harry Potter, just fucking reskin that, more or less.
True. But yeah, that's me for mine. My one for you is, what fictional character would you really, really, really want to see a Twitter account for?
I don't fucking know. I don't do Twitter, really. I get the spirit of the question. I get the spirit, so it's one of those. I don't know, instance, because the annoying thing is a lot of characters that are entertaining and funny, they made official spoof Twitter accounts. Like a lot of the Haluva Boss characters had fake Twitter accounts for a while, and then they stopped it because it started meddling with canon.
Yep. Like one that I can think of that's been done pretty well is the Loperit account, Tweeting Way.
That wasn't but that was him hijacking the FF14 Twitter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As opposed to
it's still pretty good though.
Yeah, it was alright, I suppose. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's no character that jumps at me straight away to say, yes, I want to know how this character would tweet, because like I can't even pick anyone from the Owl House, to be honest, because like Belos might be interesting, but it would pretty quickly devolve into Nazi shit, and we know this.
Yeah, plus if it was on his Twitter, it'd all be propaganda rather than what he actually thinks. links.
Yeah. Nazi propaganda, but except instead of Jews, it would be witches. I'm trying to think. I am trying to think. I like the genuine answer is I don't know, because unfortunately this question needs more prep time than zero for me, because I'm not that imaginative. And again, I don't do Twitter. The only thing I use Twitter for is to share the link for the podcast every week, because it might work. Yeah, so unfortunately I know it's a bit boring, but my answer is I don't have an answer.
Sure, fair enough. But yes, we're talking about season 3 of The Owl House, and for anyone who's been following us for a while, yes, this is the best we were ever going to get after Disney decided that they wanted to market more to China, and anything with anything other than a nuclear heteronormative family was certainly off the table for marketing to China.
I don't know if that's 100% the motivating factor, but like it's hard to say that can't. It must have been a contributing factor, the whole gay thing, even though it's not really that overt in the Owl House. Now, when I say that, I know nobody hides their sexual identity in the Owl House. I mean, it's not in your face. It's not the main point of the show, you know?
Oh, absolutely not.
Not that it would bother me if it was. Like, I like She-Ra, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And even that, it's not super in your face.
I know, but if you show it to a conservative Christian, they'll be like, oh no!
Who are these two characters who are clearly meant to represent the creator and their wife? Yeah. So we start with episode 1, thanks to them. And it opens with the montage of everything we could have got if we had a season 3 that took place in the human realm. However, it got revealed to us later by the creators that, they weren't meant to spend this much time in the human realm.
Oh, fuck.
So we even get things like, the main thing we get is Human V that's new. And part of the montage is Luce coming out to Camila with a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, which didn't Camila already know about because she stumbled upon it and was just like, oh, I better pretend.
Yep.
It's one of those where someone pointed out, because I hang around Reddit, guys, that's no secret. Someone on the Owl House subreddit straight up said that Camila was always an ally. She just got more into it when she realised her daughter was part of the Spectrum. Spectrum's the wrong word, you know what I mean, right?
Spectrum is very definitely the wrong word. But yeah, on the rainbow.
Yeah, that's a very nice way of putting it. Way better than fucking Spectrum. Fucking me.
Yeah, that's another thing.
But I knew what I meant because my brain was going like Spectrum because rainbow, but as soon as I said it, I'm like, that's a fucking stupid way of wording it, you divvy twat.
But yeah, this is the first of 3 that we got that was like a 45-minute episode, so it's the first time we managed to get essentially a 2-parter that followed on from itself. Like, yes, we had finales in the past, but this is one that we had that wasn't meant to... weren't the finales shown at once, weren't they?
I don't remember.
I think you got both episodes when they were shown at the same time.
I don't remember the Owl House having 2-parters.
Kind of not, but also Well, we got into it between season 1 and 2. Like season 2 had just started and we were kind of following along with it, weren't we?
Yeah, but that's just because it's a continuous plot. Like, that doesn't make something a 2-parter, in my opinion. No, you could have a different opinion in the way that falls, but in my opinion, a 2-parter is the episode is titled the same and it says part 1.
Okay, but yeah, I was thinking very specifically the last 2 episodes of season 1 felt very much like a 2-parter because it was cliffhanger and then 1 second later.
You're gonna have to jog my memory.
It's when Ida gets captured and is about to be sacrificed to be turned into stone, and then going and rescuing the next episode.
Yeah, I don't think that's a 2-parter. I think that's just par for the course for a continuous plotline.
Sure. Gearing up towards the season finale. Fair enough. But yeah, we have Human Realm shenanigans. This is actually, I'd say, more of a Camila episode than any other episode could possibly have been. But it's also a Hunter episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd lean more towards calling this a Hunter-centric episode. And Rick, this is the closest the show has gotten to getting me to cry without going over the boundary.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right at the end was the bit that got me.
It was a real kick in the teeth. And I think everybody could see it coming from a mile away, but that didn't make it feel any less like a gut punch.
Yeah, we got Hunter coming to terms with being a Grim Walker and basically being a secret keeper for Luce, whereas Luce Luz is crumbling under the weight of her own PTSD, and she's clearly not taken the message from like season 2 of things that have happened to other people are not your fault because someone else did it. Just because you may have been present for it, it doesn't make it your problem and your fault.
Luz falls into the trap of, and I gotta be honest with you, it's quite frustrating because you see it a lot, especially in media aimed at younger audiences, of hey, just talk.
Yeah,
and like
totally.
I can't criticize it too much because it's a character flaw we know Luz has, and she's had it since pretty much episode 1. But boy, does it still drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah, the thing that really annoys me about that one is that she went through exactly the same character arc in season 2, but like got better because we had the time to see it get better. Whereas in this, she's been keeping it to herself and just hasn't been talking at all about it. And because the only one who knows about it is Hunter, who also has a secret that he wants to be kept, he's not going to blab to anyone else about it.
Yeah, Hunter's doing this I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine type of thing, but it's really a situation where neither of them have to keep those secrets. And the saving grace is, and I say it a lot, especially when we watch cartoons where the protagonists are less than 16, like, they are kids, they do not know better, it's fine, but it's very frustrating as a viewer.
Yeah, Hunter in particular has only recently gotten positive role models.
This is true.
So, like, he's working on Emperor's Coven logic for everything, and is only now learning how to operate without it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, shit. He just recently had a massive bonding, a lot of sudden and fatherly bonding with Darius, and about 2 seconds later, Darius is taken away.
Yes, and he has to go to another planet.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I will tell you this, they did a really good job of building the tension with Belos in this first episode, because, alright, it was no secret, everybody with half a brain could tell that Belos wasn't gone, but, you know, Hunter seeing Belos in shadows and everywhere, it was just like, us as the viewers were like, is this real, or is it not? It was very unclear, and obviously we knew that little bit of him existed, but we didn't know how much was shadows playing trick on Hunter's brain, and how much was, you know, legitimate things, until Flapjap started pecking at shit.
Yeah, and we knew that the droplet of goop went onto Hunter.
Yes.
At the beginning, or at the end of season 2. But then again, we also saw it goop around the shack house.
Yeah.
As the post credits. So we knew that it wasn't part of Hunter again at that point, which is setting up for what it was doing. It was this blob of goop was going around taking animals as its hosts, up to and including deer. And yeah, these hosts don't last long. Yeah. Belos consumes everything that they are and basically leaves like this deer as like a decomposing husk, and it's pretty obvious that he would have done the same to Hunter if he'd have stayed in his body longer. And that's also what he does in episode 2, isn't it, when he finds the Garden of Grimwalkers.
Yeah, like, isn't it kind of implied that Grimwalkers are pretty much super advanced palisman?
Kind of. I don't know. So I don't know if it's Palistrom wood or if it's like...
I don't mean that in the sense of like they're made of palisman wood, because they're clearly not. They're made of bones, specifically of Belos's brother, by the looks of it. But like it seems to be implied that the same thing that gives Palisman life might be a tainted version of that gives Grimwalker's life. I also might be reading too much into it, / looked at something and made an assumption and never corrected my assumption. So I don't know.
Yeah, I also don't know. Like, it could just be as simple as you bury a corpse, you warp it into what you want it to look like, and then you reanimate it as a zombie. Because all we see of the ones that aren't hatched yet or out of the ground yet, they're all in the ground, like in plant pots, more or less.
I didn't think that those were ones that weren't hatched yet. I think those were ones that were disposed of.
I think the ones with flesh are the ones that haven't been hatched yet, and he goes, shit, they're rot.
Well, agree to disagree on this one, because my interpretation's different, and unfortunately, there's no real way of determining which one's correct.
Yeah, I think it's implied that Belos always had another Grimwalker, like, incubating, as it were.
Maybe so, but wasn't it back in season 2 when we saw a bit of a flashback into Hunter being made, where the process to actually animate the corpse looks very Frankensteinish?
Okay.
I don't know if my brain's fucking making up memories, because it's been a minute since I watched season 2, and I distinctly remember Belos being in a lab while talking shit to the Collector, and my brain might have conflated the two images.
I do remember remember him talking shit to the Collector and basically saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this one. It's becoming too unstable, and it's becoming too much of its own person, which is exactly what I don't want. I want a toy, not my brother."
I think it's worse than a toy. I want an object. Because toys you like.
Yeah.
Case in point, the Collector likes all of his toys.
Yeah, and toys break all the time. You just put them back together.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Man, the fucking history reveal of Belos, which we all knew was coming. We all knew Belos came from the same place Luce did, just down to the fucking town. But
yes, down the Gravesfield history lesson from Masha, who it's very much implied that V has a crush on. Masha is a feminine presenting non-binary person.
Sure. So that means it's cool to call her, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you can call her or them.
No, that's fine. I'll take a minute out of the podcast here to say I'm not the best at this sort of thing, so sometimes I have to ask.
Yep. And we only know about being non-binary from having the non-binary flag colours on her nails.
Are we sure that's not just her being cool, or?
Oh, apparently it was intended.
Ah, that's fine. I know, what's his name, Marky Mac, I forget, really did roll with the idea of V and this character just being a couple.
Yeah, I really like the little comics of Masha coming to the house to ask V out, and V is posing as Camila, and then has to close the door and then reopen it.
Yeah, but at that point in Mackie Mark's timeline, she already knows that V shapeshifts.
Yeah. So yeah, we get the full, well, as far as we know, the full story from the human side of Caleb and Philip.
Yeah.
The main story. And Masha pretty much hits the nail on the head that Caleb got a hot witch girlfriend and Philip got, super jelly.
It never got confirmed, but we're 95% sure as a community that witch girlfriend was a Clawthorn.
Yes. The other things pointing to it are that Flapjack looks very much like Dell's Palisman.
The fact that Gwendolyn has seen a human before.
Yeah, and the fact that the portal was buried in the Clawthorn family's estate.
Was it?
Yeah, the portal door was just buried somewhere.
That's why Ida has it.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that detail.
Yeah, and the last one is later in this episode that the vial of Titan blood has an owl-themed corkstopper.
Okay. Yeah, the Clawthorns like their birds.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, so it culminates in when Belos does possess Hunter, including basically strangling Flapjack.
Yeah. Well, he's about to ingest his soul, right? That's one point.
Yeah. As he does with all Palisman that he gets his hands on.
Oh, man.
And, this is something that Hunter's been trying to keep from him for a long time.
It's one of his reoccurring nightmares by the sounds of things.
And it's I think it's the first sign of Darius not being a heel when he knows about the Palisman and doesn't rat him out to Belos before he comes out as being actually a good guy. Sort of,
but Darius's timeline is a bit weird when it comes to Hunter, because there's that very early episode in season 2 where Hunter wants to prove he's as good as the last Golden Guard, and Darius is I don't care.
Yeah, because Darius had a very obvious relationship with the previous Golden Guard.
Now you say very obvious. You say very obvious. I've been told a few times, including by a commenter on one of our Owl House videos, that Darius probably had a relationship of a romantic nature with the previous Golden Guard. Completely over my fucking head. This is not the first time this has happened to me.
Well, when I say very obvious relationship, I don't necessarily mean romantic. He could have been his mentor, but there's something there. There's something in the past, something that Darius laments and mourns.
It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. I'm just using the verbiage that... is that a word, or am I making that up?
Oh, the verbiage is fine, yeah. Verbiage,
sorry, I sometimes you say things and you go, I don't know if that's a word. But yeah...
Yes. I do this sometimes. I end up Googling it to say, is the thing I'm thinking of a word?
But yeah, I'm just using the verbiage that the commenter used, and you know what? I'm convinced Darius is gay, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did have a thing with the other Golden Guard.
Yeah.
Also, come on, man. I think his relationship with, I want to say his name's Alador, but I've forgotten.
Yeah. There's Alador, and he's best bros with Eberwolf as well.
Yeah, but who doesn't want to be fucking best bros with Eberwolf? Have you seen that character when they fight?
Yeah. You don't want to be on that character's bad side.
But I'm convinced Darius's relationship with Alador soured because Alador chose Odalia over him.
Yeah, and basically we don't see we see Odalia, but we don't see Alador until like the season 3 finale cooldown montage.
Yeah, and it's one of the most heartwarming moments, but we'll get there when we get there, eh?
Yeah. So yes, the fight with Hunter Bellows is the best animated thing in this episode, and for good reason.
Yeah.
V tries to do the thing that might have ended up being... It might have worked if it weren't for the fact that he's too powerful for her, in that she tries to drain all the magic from the area, which starts to work, but she doesn't have that much strength.
Yeah, V's... we keep forgetting that V, as far as basilisks go, is a baby.
Yes.
Like,
yes, very much.
In fact, one of the reasons why she didn't stick in a demon realm, and she made this very apparent, was she didn't want to go around and drain everyone's magic. So
yeah. It's I think it's implied that she can get enough magic from the kids cooking for her and things like that, or like being around them.
Well, case in point, wasn't one of the ways that she regained her magic in that one episode when she got caught by that douchebag? They found a deck of cards that Ida had left, and she just drained the residue magic off of that.
Yeah, Hexa's Hold'em.
That's the one. I forgot the name. I knew it was dumb.
Yeah, I think she could just eat the cards. And by the same token, I think she could probably just eat a glyph. But the fact that they don't work in the human realm, apart from when they do, is what stops that from working all the time. The thing that makes them work in the human realm is proximity to Titan blood, which is how they seek out where the Titan blood is. The stronger the glyph reaction is, which is basically just make a light glyph, see if it works or not, and they just use that to hot or cold to get to where they're going.
Yeah, once again, another early hint that the Titan was gifting its magic to Luz.
Yes. But even then, I think the first time we were outright shown that it was a gift was on the knee when she got the ice glyph.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's another clue, because bear in mind when they went, there was loads of hints, but I think the biggest penultimate one was when Luz, when it stopped being hints and straight up confirmed, was when they went back in time to see Philip, and Philip was like, you've learned all these glyphs. I've not learned any. It's almost as if the Titan's hiding them from me. And then we see him with that jacked arm that still gives me nightmares.
Yes. But yeah, they fight over the Titan blood, and eventually they open the portal after the fight.
Well, Bellows essentially loses this fight and goes, I don't want... No! And then decides instead of killing everyone first, he's just going to change his objective to getting back to the demon realm. So, It's hard to tell if the kids would have known how to activate that gate or not. So it's one of those where, they managed to piece together that, yes, they needed Titan blood, and yes, they needed to use it on the gate somehow, but they might have worked it out, but they might have fucked it up as well.
Yeah. And they didn't have a backup supply.
No. And Camila going all fucking ghetto with her baseball bat.
Yeah.
Although, I don't think it was a baseball bat. I think it was made of fucking rubber, wasn't it?
Something like that. It's very obviously meant to be a baseball bat, though, yeah. And then Luce just at the end going, you go home, I'm staying here, and Camila going, yeah, shut up. I'm coming with you.
Yeah, it's another case of, again, Luz needs to talk more. This is pretty much the last time it's an issue, because everything from here on out is just we got bigger issues than Luz's, I don't know how to describe it, martyr syndrome.
Yeah, the whole martyr complex. She promised that she'd stay at home with Camila, but Camila's like, fuck off, home is where I am. I'm coming with you. These are all my kids. I've taken care of you for months now. I'm not letting any of you get hurt.
Yeah, I do like how Camila and Ida are basically the same person. Well, you know what I mean? It's I now have... I had one kid, now I have 10.
Yes, yeah, they got the same role. And even then, Ida kind of treats King as a pet who has learned to talk until, very recently, it feels.
There's a bit of a line, sure, but I think for at least, a year or so, probably before the series starts, she probably treated King more like a person than a pet.
Yeah, obviously he's more person than pet on the sliding scale of where she treats Hootie.
Hootie's in a weird fucking spot, man. Oh, and it's even weirder now with the finale and that one thing on that one character, but again, I'm gonna go to my catchphrase of we'll get there when we get there.
Yes.
Because boy, does that fucking add more questions than it answers.
It does. Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 1.
Rick, do you want to do MVP per episode, or do you want to just do an MVP for the finale for the season as a whole at the end?
Yeah, let's do the final 3 for each episode. Why not?
I don't think I want to do a weakest link for each episode.
Yeah, because the weakest link's always going to be the same. Like, let's just skip weakest link because we all know it's Disney.
I was going to word mine a bit different, but yeah, I think we could do a weakest link at the end with the summary.
Sure.
Sorry for the on-the-fly planning, guys.
Yeah, we didn't consider this until we came across it, but yeah, favourite moment from episode 1?
Favourite moment from episode 1 was, I think my favourite moment was Camila being found out to be a big fucking nerd.
Yeah, that was pretty cute.
Specifically for not Star Trek.
Yes, which apparently in story was written in like the 90s and takes place in 2008.
Yeah, cool.
So, it's like a super parody of how things written in the 60s thought that the 90s were going to be a space age.
Well, not like we are in the age of like again 90s would write like 2020 we're going to have flying like we're past Back to the Future times, Rick.
Yes, we are. Yeah, Back to the Future is in the past.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking of?
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, like, that's entirely true. Like, Back to the Future 2, where they go to the future, is now in the past in real life.
Right, okay, cool. Confession time, I've never watched Back to the Future. I know there's a point where they go to the future, and I know we're past it, because people bitched about hover bikes and shit.
Yep.
But, you know, it's great. Like, that's why you got most sci-fi writers write books in the year 3000, because, like, they're going to be long. Like, there's people who wrote books, and they're still alive in the time where they set the books.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's the ideal, really, isn't it? Like, you want to live another 30 years, 40 years, 60 years, hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how advanced do you think when they get in that time? Okay, I get it to an extent. Like, there was 30 or 40 years between the first aeroplane and then Moon. But, Anyway, sorry, I feel like I've digressed. What's your favourite moment from episode 1, Rick?
Barring the fight.
You can say the fight, that's fine.
Like, a favourite moment doesn't have to be a positive one, and for me, it's going to be when Hunter gets revived by Flapjack's spirit, and then he asks where Flapjack is, and then as soon as people start to tell him, he just goes, "Don't, I already know."
It's one of those cases of your mouth moving faster than your brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I think this is the first time his heart has beat as well.
Possibly. Well, I think isn't that what a defining characteristic of a Grimwalker is that they're not technically alive, so therefore no heartbeat.
Yeah, something like that. I think this might be from fanon rather than canon.
Yeah, because again, the Grimwalkers aren't really explained in depth.
No. What they are could have been better explained. But then again, it is a kids show. This might be a kid's first time seeing a zombie.
I don't know. I don't think this is a kids show. I think this is a teenage show.
Yeah, like it's a teen show that you can show to kids. And like later on, episode 3 in particular, my folks said, "Oh boy, I wouldn't want to show this to my kid." If he had a 6-year-old.
I'll say this, right? I was going to save it until we got there, but episode 3, I was watching the episode and I got to us about halfway through before going, you know what? There has been a disproportionate amount of heavy metal covers in this show today.
And it's all good, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. I fucking loved it. But I'm also a 30-year-old man who likes heavy metal, so I can take those visuals.
Well, saying that, I think the first thing that I listened to that thought, "Oh, I like power metal," was the Power Rangers theme. And it's like the most milquetoast version of power metal, and yet it introduces you to the fact that a guitar is cool.
Don't know the relevance, but okay.
Yeah, but you know, like, for a lot of, like, everyone needs a first exposure to something, and for me, metal was Power Rangers.
No, I get what you're saying, but I thought we were more talking about visuals rather than sound.
Yeah, fair enough.
And if you say Power Rangers have got metal visuals, you're fucking wrong.
No, it don't.
Goldar looks pretty cool, but apart from that...
Yeah, Goldar is glam rock, ain't he?
I don't know. I think all you got to do is bloody up Goldar a little bit and he'd fit right at home in a metal album cover.
Sure. Oh shit, now I'm thinking of glam rock Goldar.
That's fine, you're thinking of Goldar.
Yeah.
Give him some Kiss fucking face paint, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, we
totally.
are way off topic.
Yeah, we are. So, yeah, I'm saying it's the Hunter moment of his resurrection, as it were. But who would you say is the MVP of episode 1?
It's got to be Hunter. Like, I could see a case being made for several characters, but like the fact that Hunter was able to continue after this point is quite frankly a miracle in and of itself.
Yeah. It feels like the only reason he doesn't stay back with V is because he knows Belos better than anyone, and he can be more used to the group by sticking with them and still helping developing.
I don't even know if it's that. I think there's a little bit of Belos killed my best friend.
Yeah, true. There is that as well, yeah.
But yeah, how about you? Who do you think merits the MVP award here?
I'm giving it to Camila because she really held these kids together. I think it shows better in this episode than in the future, but there was only ever going to be this chance for Camila to have this much focus.
No,
so I'm giving it to her.
I get exactly what you're saying, because while in the next 2 episodes she's a constant presence, she doesn't really get a chance to shine.
No. Like, what she's there for in the other 2 episodes is, if you are watching this as a newcomer, then Camila is the loose stand-in, as it were. Like, the season 1 loose stand-in.
Alright, but at the same time, if you start watching a show at series 3, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, true. Especially when, like, it's the finale and they're coming out, like, 3 months apart each time.
It's like with, like, Infinity War and Endgame with Marvel, and they're like, no, we're just going to assume everyone's watched everything because we can't introduce this many characters again.
Yeah. It's, like, there's a lot of required reading, and, yeah, you get reintroduced to a character with very little fanfare, and, yeah, it's a continuation rather than a refresher, you know? But, yeah, we get to episode 2 for the future.
The way this episode started was fucking wild to me.
Yeah. So we get to see how the Boiling Isles have been holding up. We see exactly what King meant by playing the Owl House, and it's just reliving their old adventures, but taking the Collector along for the ride.
Well, I think there's still an element of bullshit here, because King is just trying to buy time. He doesn't know what for yet, but, you know.
Yeah, and they have a little bedroom together, which is really cute, and then King, just on the reg, sneaks away to talk to Ida, who is meant to be always the owl beast in a cage, except she really isn't. See Ida and Lilith.
One of the touches I enjoy is they make it pretty obvious that the Collector knows that King is doing this, and he just chooses to ignore it.
Yeah, because he's not doing any harm, and it's only at the end of the episode where he spies in on it that he has his faith shaken. But even then, not by much, as we find out in episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 is a gut punch in so many ways. We'll get to it when we get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. Yeah. But yeah, I find it so fucking sweet and endearing that Ida apparently regularly trips the fucking alarm system just so she can see Rain move.
Yeah. All of the captured Coven heads are security for the Owl Beast.
Yeah.
And while they're playing Owl House out in the streets, they have some human actors. I say human, demon actors, including Terra Snapdragon, who's pretending to be Ida.
I got so wound up in this scene because Terra Snapdragon was not giving it the amount of effort she should have done, and then she acted surprised when the Collector got tired of her.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the Owl Lady. I like musicians.
Rain is special. It's not all musicians. Fuck off. But yeah, it was, yeah, man.
Yeah, she gets dolled. They go back home, and that's where Mama Dahlia is.
I'm sure a lot of fans got had the same reaction of, how, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, she has a way of worming her way, but this is when she's really out of her element, because she's trying to be a lieutenant to a conqueror, when really what she ends up being is, for the first time in her life, it seems, being a mom.
Yeah, and she still fucks it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So she's basically a caretaker for King and the Collector.
It's rather telling that she has 3 kids, and at varying points in time they go from scared of her to hating her.
Oh yeah, because all she wanted from that family was heirs, and, Alador's genius. Or that's what it ended up with by the time we get to see it. It might have been more pure when they were kids, but we'll never know.
I hope it was, but, yeah. She's pretty rotten. It takes a while. She must have been rotten for a while, is all I'm saying.
But yeah, this episode has more focus on Willow and Gus. Amity to a smaller degree, and Camila is there.
I remember when this episode came out, and I told you, man, I got completely blindsided. I got completely fooled and bamboozled by Kikimora, and you laughed at me.
Oh, yeah, because it's Miki and Korra, which is an anagram of Kikimora.
But I didn't. I was genuinely fooled, and I felt really bad about myself during the reveal, because I literally was just like, man, I can never complain about Clark Kent. I have no doubt that if a man wearing a suit and glasses would completely fool me into thinking that, no, this can't be Superman. He looks completely different.
Yeah. It's just Kikimora with goggles.
And I think we mentioned this during the podcast on the week when it aired, but we learned that what is his name? Matthew's real name is Matholomew.
Yeah, Matholomew. But apparently he is just Matt Tholomew. His surname is Tholomew.
Which means Steve's surname is Tholomew then.
Yeah, Steve Tholomew, yeah. And he becomes Man Tholomew. He just draws a little goatee on himself.
It's the best in the worst way.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fucking Boscha reveals that she is still a cunt.
Yeah, but, it's a double-sided thing. Yeah, she's still a bit. But also, yeah, she does want to play grudge bee with her buddies, and she kind of wants Amity to be among those buddies again, because Amity just ditched Boscha as soon as she started being a better person.
Yeah, which is kind of shitty in its own way, but it's one of those where I don't think Boscha's ever going to grow.
No.
And I think everybody our age at least, probably not the teenage audience, but I think most, if not everybody, has known at least one person in their life where they've gone, oh, you've not changed since you were a teenager.
Yeah, the peaked in high school syndrome.
Well, I guess it would be peaked, wouldn't it? Because it does tend to be athletes.
Yeah. Oh man, too real.
Well, it is what it is. I will say this. I remember at the time, I don't partake in discussions a lot, especially on subreddits, which are clearly aimed at younger audiences. But I still watch and, read and stuff, because some people's theories are interesting. There was a lot of talk at the time of, oh, Boscha loves Amity. But they didn't mean that in a friendly way. They meant that in a romantic sense. And I remember having a discussion with you off the podcast in particular, because you're the only other fucker I know who watches this show.
Yep.
I really didn't get that vibe at all.
Yeah, neither did I. You could read it that way, but I don't think it was intended that way at all either. So.
Nah, it really did feel like Boscha had a lot of respect. Well, maybe not respect, but a kind of warped sort of respect, and
it's
admiration.
Not even that warped. They were assigned as not significant, suitable friends to have by their parents when it was convenient to them to have a business deal. So, and they did spend a lot of their young lives together, growing up and being a bitch posse, which apparently also involved Skara, and Skara also just stopped being bitchy really early on.
I think it was implied that Skara was never really that type of person. She just sort of hung out with them because no one else wanted to hang out with her.
Yeah.
And then she started doing really well on the... What tracks did she take? It was Animal and Healing, wasn't it? Or Animal and something else?
That was Viney. Skara was just a bard. And,
okay.
We see in the distant finale that she's a teacher, teaching bard stuff to kids.
That's fair. That's pretty good. But yeah, it's one of those where, I think there is a type of love that Boscha has for Amity, but I don't think it's the romantic kind. That's all I wanted to say. I remember it being a big debate on the subreddit is all.
I think it's more pining for the old days.
Yeah, well, we can relate to that in our friend group, considering what fucking recently happened.
Yeah.
We'll not delve into that.
But yeah, we've got the thing that really happens later on is Bellows takes Rain as his vessel after faking out that Odalia will do. This is after he's tried to get the Grimwalker corpses to be usable, but the fact that he's able to wear them out so quickly means that he probably would have done that to Hunter if he had enough time in his body.
Maybe, but Hunter would not have worn out anywhere as quick, because Hunter, as you say, wasn't a corpse already when he not in the literal sense anyway, when he was possessed.
Yep. So when he takes Rain as his vessel, he then becomes the Collector's poisonous advisor. He spins a yarn about, oh, you loved me so much I came to life.
I fucking love that though, but based solely on the fact that this would work on the Collector. He is a child.
Yeah. And we get the actual finale of Stringbean.
Yeah, it was theorized for a long time that Luz would get a snake, and then here we are, better than a snake.
Yeah. The main theory pointing towards a snake was if you turn the Owl House logo upside down, the other stick that looks like a staff is attached to the S of house.
I mean, if you say so. I never saw a basis on it like that. I don't even remember what the basis was, so I'll take your explanation as gospel.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at the logo, the H is attached to the Albert logo for the O, and then the S is attached to the L, and they both look like witches' staffs, and it's the only thing that looks like witches' staff in the stylization. But yeah, we got better than a snake. Stringbean can turn into any little mini small creature,
which is great for Luz, because Luz is such an adaptable little bubble of joy.
Yeah, and she wants them all. Like, it's one of those. She wants all of the things that are cute, and she thinks a lot of things that are not traditionally seen as cute are cute. Like, she loves snakes, she loves spiders, everything like that.
Oh, hang on, wasn't that more of the theory in that the very first animal that she's shown with is a snake?
Yeah. So episode 1, she's shown with snakes, and then in Camila's flashback, she's shown as having affinity for snakes. She jigs up a snake skin and calls it the snake's pajamas.
Yeah, a lot of kids do that with reptile skin.
Yeah.
Like, geckos are the cutest.
Snakes, yeah, they are. They definitely are. Like, these are the snake's pajamas, which means the real one's out there, and it's even bigger.
She's not wrong. That's 100% how it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to rewind a little bit, because we glossed over a lot of the Battle for Hex side, as it were. Principal Bump getting a sick-ass statue of himself riding a skateboard, because he...
doing a kickflip.
Yeah, because he sacrificed himself to save all the students, which is such a Bump thing to do.
Yeah, totally. And to his credit, it worked.
Yeah.
At least for the ones that are still there.
Yeah, he saved as many students as he could.
Some of them got dolled, but the ones that are still there are were definitely saved by Bump. So yeah, they very definitely honor him in a way that is very much the kid way to do it, which I think is great.
Yeah. Did Kikimora die?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but you say that, right? But she doesn't show up ever again.
No.
So I'm like,
not
is
even
she?
Somali, yeah.
Is she dead?
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get that from the episode, but like.
No, I also didn't get it from the episode. But now the finale's out, I'm like, is she? Did they kill Kikimora off, or is she living in a cave somewhere like Gollum?
Yeah, I think she's worn out all of her disguises. Like, even Tibbles shows up in the finale montage.
Yeah, but Tibbles was never evil. He was just a dick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's a scammer.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's a scammer. He's a merchant, but like not a very nice one.
Yeah, he wasn't Goebbels, which is basically what Kikimora was. Like, if Belos is Hitler, then Kikimora's Goebbels. Maybe Goering at a push.
Yeah, like Kikimora at least gave King some advice of, Belos has discarded me. Go fuck him up.
Yeah, but it's so
down
baffling.
There is where he kept his thing. Yeah.
It's so baffling to me that she kept fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really well established that Kikimora's big thing is she wants to be powerful, she wants to be the fucking queen bitch. Like, we know this, but it's still...
And she wants to be tall.
Well, yeah, that's just Frieza, but... it's one of those of... There's a certain point where you can tell someone is evil when they put power over... living, I guess. It's like, I want to be powerful, I'm going to keep fighting, despite the fact there is a much bigger problem going on in the world right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until Dana Terrace says otherwise, I'm going to assume Kikimora died in this conflict.
I'm going to hang fire on that, but yeah. Sure.
Oh, you coward!
Yeah.
Well, so far we've only got 2 confirmed fucking deaths. Well, sorry, 1 confirmed death, Belos.
Yeah, well, Flapjack.
I meant on the villain side, but okay.
Okay. Yeah, we've got Belos, and even then, like, the way that they do it is not exactly as final as we hope it would be.
Oh, no, but he's gone. Like, he is gone. There's no way he's not gone.
Yeah, because in the finale, like, takes place a couple of years later, and he hasn't cropped up again since then, when, he would, if he could. I
am going to jump forward a little bit here, just because we're talking about it, so very quickly. I did appreciate Luz's final moments with Belos/Philip of, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah.
Which is such a fucking... although that being said, it's then immediately sandbagged by the fact that fucking King, Ida, and Rain fucking stomp him out.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's giving all this, you'd be just as evil, just as conniving as, and it's obvious that he means himself, but he says, as they are.
Yeah, because no one is the villain in their own story. You got to remember that, guys, by the way, going in the real world, if someone does something dickish to you and comes off as a major fucking asshole, in their mind, everything they do is okay.
Yeah, totally.
So sometimes turning the other cheek is not the right thing to do, and let's put that on a shirt. Bad legal advice by Devon. Sometimes you got to swing first.
True.
Or to quote the great Tom Segura, some people suck.
So, I guess we could do MVP for this episode. So, what would you say is your favourite moment from this episode?
My favourite moment was King's little retreat into meeting Ida and Lilith, and seeing Lilith with a really fucking weird haircut, so much so I didn't know it was Lilith till she spoke.
Yeah, because it's really easy to forget that both Ida and Lilith are natural redheads.
Yeah, so Lilith clearly dyes her hair.
Yeah, and she's not been able to get hold of hair dye.
I was also going to say about Dol Hootie, because Dol Hootie's design is adorable, and he's always smiling.
Yeah. And I think this is the first time we get a insight into the fact that the dolls can perceive.
Yeah.
Because everything we've seen before that makes them just look like dolls, whereas Hootie can actually not only perceive, but also speak to a small degree while being a doll.
Yeah, but it's also implied that Hootie is all-powerful for some reason.
Yeah. But it's something that needs to be done for next episode when Amity does the same.
Okay. Yeah, except when Amity does it, it's a bit different.
Yeah, all she's doing is trying to scratch a glyph with her finger, and you get to see that she started moving before that comes to fruition.
Sure. Fuck, I forgot to ask, what's your favourite moment of episode 2?
My favourite moment in episode 2 is seeing Luce cut loose with her dark magic.
Dark magic?
So when Stringbean starts to awaken and Luce gets her own magic, as it were, and can just make blasts, the fact that it's dark attributed, like dark purple with sickly yellow highlights, basically the kind of magic that you would assume that the villain has rather than a hero. I like that they're showing that dark is not evil.
I don't remember them doing this.
Well, doesn't she she blasts Kikimora with it as well, doesn't she?
I don't remember. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying I don't remember.
Yeah, well, it's the same magic that she uses in the next episode as well for a small amount of time, but for the most part she's using the new magic bit upgrade that she gets. But yeah, I'd say when she cuts loose with the magic given to her by Stringbean, not even the reveal of Stringbean as Stringbean, it's being able to use that magic instinctively. But yeah, that's going to be my favourite moment. But who would you say is the MVP of episode 2?
It's a tough one, actually, because no one really stands out, because everyone does shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the MVP award to King for episode 2.
Sure.
Because his sections were by far the most entertaining. Or not entertaining even, interesting.
Compelling, yeah.
It was a lot more court intrigue than I was expecting from the Owl House.
Yeah, totally. Especially from someone who is still a child, although that's tempered by the fact that it was against someone who is also still a child.
Yeah, by their own racist standards, which, by the sounds of things, they're both pretty much immortal.
Yeah.
But yes, what about you? Who would you grant the rank of MVP?
I'm giving a posthumous MVP to Principal Bump.
I don't quite see the logic, but go ahead.
But yeah, it's like we said, he saved all those students, and if it weren't for that, then there wouldn't be this bastion of resistance against the Collector.
Yeah, I suppose.
And yeah, like we said before, he got honoured in the best way that a kid can.
Doing a kickflip.
By having a sick-ass statue of him doing a kickflip. But yeah, now we get to episode 3.
Which is hopefully the freshest in our minds, because as of recording, it came out yesterday on YouTube.
Yes, I watched it twice yesterday. It's full of callbacks. There's being weirdos together, there's bread puns, there's eat this sucker, and bye.
I will tell you this, I didn't like the opening all that much. Not because it was bad, but because it was rehashing old ground a little too much.
I suppose a little bit.
I didn't dislike it, it felt like a bit of a slog to start. It very quickly fucking steamrolled into a lot more than a slog, don't get me wrong, it's just, hey, we've done this.
Yeah, kicked back up into high gear, yeah. Yeah, challenging to a witch's battle. So the beginning, they're all caught in the Collector's dream realm and have to play games with each other the whole time, and Luce is the first to break out, possibly with a bit of help from King's dad, which is the first time we see his face.
Well, depends what you describe as his face, really, doesn't it? But
well, his the face that he presents later on in the episode.
I don't know if we do, because it just looks like the Titan skull to me. But hey, whatever. We get King's dad at the beginning saying, well, granted, we didn't know 100% sure it was King's dad at the time, although it was a pretty reasonable guess.
Yeah. So he's the one that we also saw him in episode 2 as well, didn't we?
No.
So he was fucking around in the world between worlds in episode 2, and we didn't know who the fuck this person was. So when they went into the portal and before they got out at the beginning of episode 2, that we didn't know who that extra person was at all, and now it turns out to be King's dad.
I don't remember. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'll have to find it in the episode, but yeah. When rewatching, it very definitely is the skull face with the eye and the other thing from the other eye.
Okay.
That says, "Luce the human, wake up."
Yeah, he does that, and then with Luce having a bit of background information in her mind that this is in fact not real, it helps her deal deal with the Amity problem.
Yeah, she gets all of the other kids laying into her verbally for, all of the things that she's been feeling bad about, and that really helps her get over it, because she knows that, like, her friends wouldn't say that to her because they really don't actually feel that way.
It's also implied that in this dream world that they're not actually criticizing her about real problems, but the problems that she has done as the Emperor because she is dressed as Belos.
Yes. Yeah, these are the problems that she has created for everyone on the Boiling Isles by essentially helping Belos unwittingly, and then she's got this big old complex about, oh yeah, everything that he does is because of me. Well, no. Everything that he does is because of him. He just used you to achieve some of those goals.
And it's one of those where, like, if it wasn't Luz, it would have been someone else.
Possibly, but, like, specifically the things that she allowed him to achieve were very specifically things that only she has achieved.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I mean by that is Belos is a serial user and manipulator of people. Like, Luz is not the first person that Belos used, and she sure shit wasn't the last.
Oh, totally. Like, even when she meets him in the past, it's on the back of him using one of the two bounty hunter mercenaries to, like, get where he wants to go. That person dying and him eating his talisman. But yeah, Belos abandons the Rain doll after the Collector clearly isn't as annoyed as he should be. And he decides, oh, fuck it, I'm taking the entire Boiling Isles as my new vessel.
To be fair, he got that idea from the Collector and watching King. Not watching King, but he got the idea from the Collector when the Collector said, oh yeah, the whole body's this and blah, 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 blah. And then the Collector was like, I can do something with that. And then that's when he gave the Collector the idea to, why don't you play games personally with the three of them and show what a good boy you are? And then the moment the Collector fucks off, that's when Belos is like, cool, I'm going to go take over the island. And,
yep.
Man,
because he knows the heart's still beating.
He does.
Because it was in his castle.
Yeah, right behind his throne, right?
Yeah.
Boy, do we get to see how much of a badass Rain is, in case you fucking forgot.
Yes. I actually think he looks... Oh, sorry. They look way cooler with the scars.
I didn't even notice the scars so much as, like, it's implied that they were fighting Belos the entire fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And,
when they expel Belos and there's a bunch of Belos goop, like, that where that was turns into scars. Similar to Hunter. Like, Hunter had Belos goop, and that turned into his scars.
Okay. I don't think they were as prominent on Rain, or I just glossed over them because there was other interesting stuff happening immediately afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rain doing their best to stop Belos from doing anything and using bard magic to its fullest potential, and as soon as they got their mouth covered so they couldn't whistle anymore, just bash the lute on the ground. The violin. Because that's percussion.
I can't remember when it happens, but there is a moment where Belos straight up says, or says in his mind that, fuck, I forgot, Rain is quite powerful.
Yeah, Rain has always been annoyingly powerful.
Yeah, there you go, there's the wording. But there is a Mackie Mark comic that came out about 2 months ago now, and yes, I will keep referencing it because they're good comics.
They're basically canon.
Of, like, in the downtime between Collector and Belos Rain, just sort of just talking. It just cuts inside Rain's head, and Belos is like, will you just shut up, Rain? There's nothing you can do. Go be a good bard and shut up. And Rain is just like, you're right, there is nothing I can do. And then pulls out some bagpipes, because as we all know, it's the most annoying instrument, and just starts playing them at full volume and doesn't stop. And Belos just looks at the quote-unquote camera as if to say, I need to put up with this shit for hours. And it's just, imagine that, constantly against your will, bagpipes playing in your head.
Yeah.
I could imagine Rain being that I could imagine Rain being more inventive than that and being even more annoying. He went out with fucking Ida, for fuck's sake.
Oh, totally.
Sorry, they went out with Ida.
Yeah, if you want any indication of resilience, it's going out with someone who is a bona fide pain in the arse. Although I know exactly what it's like to have bagpipes in your head all the time, because I got tinnitus. So, like the droning bass tone of the bagpipes? I basically got that the entire time, but higher pitched.
I know what tinnitus is. Pretty much everyone in our generation has it. Plus, I worked on a farm.
Yeah.
If you don't know what tinnitus is, it's a constant ringing in your ears. Sometimes it's not constant, sometimes it goes away, but if you've got a high pitch, like, in your head, just playing constantly, you've probably got tinnitus. And it's basically minor ear damage.
Yeah. Man, I remember my cousin's grandma, who's not my grandma, she wasn't the sharpest trowel in the bucket, but she went to the doctor's once and says, Doctor, I think I've got that titinus. It tickled me at least. But yeah, so when Belos takes over the Isles, he turns into a kaiju, but also can control the whole Titan, and that's another kaiju that he is. So he's two kaiju at once.
This is the first shot in the episode where I'm like, that's a fucking heavy metal album cover. This isn't the Owl House.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying kaiju, but like for a moment there, it was more Cthulhu-esque than just giant monster.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Ida, King, and Luce are all together because Luce has woken up King and Ida, and they're like trying to diplomacy the Collector.
We say because, Luce is trying. Like, Ida and King are both smart enough to go, you know what, we're gonna hang back on this one.
Yeah, because it is King that like points out to Ida, yeah, if there's anyone that can get through to him, it's Luce. And yeah, Luce tries to diplomacy the Collector and basically succeeds, like saying, well, it first comes out with, do you not know what death means to mortals?
Like, it's the
most... The Collector goes, when your toy breaks, you just fix it.
It's the most telling line of the show, and I think it's probably the first time that perhaps viewers of cartoons and whatnot would probably be faced with the question that, yes, an immortal being probably doesn't have a concept of death.
Yeah.
This is a reason why Lovecraftian monsters are terrifying.
Yeah, they don't know what death is, or they don't know what it actually fully means to people that have to contend with it. Like, you can know what it means from the outside looking in, but when you're having to contend with it yourself, it's a lot different. And he still continues to call them itty bitty spiders, and Luce comes through with sometimes all you need is a bit of compassion and forgiveness. And the Collector takes this to heart in the worst possible way by trying to use it on Belos like one scene later.
Yeah, I got really bothered. I didn't get bothered by this in that it was bad writing. It was actually, it made perfect sense. I got bothered in the sense that I was like, that's what kids do. They get taught a lesson and then immediately apply it, and you're just like, oh fuck, I didn't mean now. Oh
yeah.
And then Luce does the thing that all heroes should do, and that is puts themselves in the way of the bullet.
Yes, absolutely. I've got this in my notes in block capitals. Luce fucking dies.
Yeah. Hey Rick, did you watch Amphibia?
Yeah.
I will say this though, my favourite scene, and this is my favourite moment, I don't care if I'm spoiling it early, my favourite scene is King's Papa.
Yeah, totally. So another thing about this is on the same day as releasing the episode, Disney also put a clip of this and calling it Luce's Sacrifice, and it shows her turning into tree, and that's just on the same Disney Channel main page that the episode is.
It's almost as if they want the Owl House to fail.
Yeah, so if you don't want spoilers, you need to have watched it in that 2-hour period between them posting the episode and posting the clip.
Damn, that's real dumb. That is real dumb. Is there anything else you want to talk about quick before we move on to King's dad?
No, let's go to King's dad.
The moment I saw King's dad, and I shit you not, and this isn't my proudest moment, I went, oh, it's me!
Yeah, wearing the Bad Girl Coven t-shirt.
Not the demographic for this show at all, and yet super into it.
Yeah.
Big
beardy dad.
I will say this, I did get mildly spoiled on on it being King's dad early, because the closed captions were automatically on for this, so I thought, fuck it, I'll leave them on. And when you just got the zoom in of Luce's face as she's sinking into the sea of the abyss, it just went King's dad, and then what King's dad said as he's pulling out Luce. Very interesting. We learnt that King's race is all intersex here.
Yes.
And can assumedly perhaps reproduce asexually.
That's very much implied, because King's dad was the only full-grown Titan and was able to create the eggs.
Which means the fact that King still exists means the Titans aren't necessarily doomed to extinction.
Which is great.
It is. But yeah, I do love how they gave a lot of meaning towards that throwaway funny line. From a season and a half ago.
Yes. There's so many things that are callbacks. That's another one of them. You said it at the beginning of the podcast. But yes, I am both king and queen, best of both things.
And then he immediately follows it up with, "But King's dad works too," which is why I'm okay with calling him him.
Yep. But yeah, they have a cute little heart-to-heart, and I think the thing that really seals it for me is he's been using the same cubes that Luce used in the World Between Worlds to look at what Camila was doing in Yesterday's Lie.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I've been using them to keep an eye on my son and those who have been kind to him.
Yeah. I will say this, I had a real mixture of both laughter and hand going when Luz has a mild freak out. So that means I'm dead because you're here. And then she kneels down and starts sinking into the goo, and it just cuts to King's dad going, "Oh no, don't do that because then you will be."
Yep.
I feel bad, all the more bad for King watching this scene, because it seems like King's dad would have been a really great fucking parent.
Oh, totally, absolutely. Oh man, such a shame of things that we're never going to get to see because it doesn't fit the timeline.
Speaking of things we're never going to get to see, this fucking scene and this fucking appearance of King's dad leads me to ask the question for the millionth time: what the fuck is Hooty?
Well, didn't you say that most of the demons sprung from the corpse of the Titan, like from the Boiling Isles? So if something like Hooty is already something that he has within him, then that makes it real obvious that Hooty is just as much a child of the Boiling Isles as anyone else.
I don't know, man. Like we know Hooty's still alive at the end because they make a point of showing him getting untoyed, but it really looks as if Hooty might have been an extension of King's dad's body at one point, perhaps to keep an eye on King.
Yeah, maybe so.
And that's why he's bullshit strong.
Yeah. The only other thing that we see that's anything like that is we see the dolls that King's dad leaves with King in the crib on that little island, in terms of like something that's meant to be a guardian. So we don't know where Hooty came from. We've not seen other demons like him. We know Hooty considers himself a bug demon, and it's obvious a lot more with something a lot smaller like the mini Hooty coming from King's dad's eye, that yes, it does look more like a worm, but when you scale it up, he does seem to be more of a snake creature.
Well, he by definition cannot be a worm because he has bones.
Yep.
And we know this because of that horrifying scene at the beginning of season 2.
And yet he can crunch himself into a small portable form, which appears to be what he stays with after that, because he seems to stay with Lilith even into the finale.
Yeah, but them two are bros though.
Yeah.
Well, like at the end of the day, isn't like the door to the outhouse just a big version of that portable little thing?
Yeah, I suppose. But also Hooty can do like a bit of reality warping. He can turn his mouth into the entire door, for instance, as we saw in episode 1.
True.
So he is a bit of a size shifter.
He is terrifying.
As well as being a grower, not a shower.
Terrifying.
Yes, terrifying. Horrifying. Truly horrifying.
He beat up like 100 fucking Emperor Coven goons and then forced them to have a tea party.
Yes, he beat them up by playing.
Like, there's some fucking analogues you can draw between Hooty and the Collector here. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, totally. But yeah, the King's dad has his glyphs just like swirling around him at all times, pretty much. Mm-hmm. They're like mostly on his clothes, but then when he needs to swirl them, they just like pop off him if he needs them to. And he gives Luce the option. Well, I'm kind of dead looking out there, and you'll be kind of dead looking if you go down under there. Why don't I just give you this last bit of life that I have left and give you another chance? And when Luce starts to protest, he goes, well, would you like me to give it to someone else? You're right here, and you seem like a good egg. And that's when she finally accepts and gets told something to tell to King.
Yeah, they fucking whisper it, the fuckers.
Yeah, they whisper it both times, and it's only because King actually says it again that we actually get to find out what it was.
Yeah, he also has a message for Ida.
I forgot what the message for Ida was.
It was just thank you.
Thanks for taking care of my boy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that one. I was more focused on the bread pun and what was to come, which is very, very obviously something that I'm a fan of. We get Demon Luce.
I will say this before we get into Demon Luce and the epic showdown finally, that before we actually cut to Luce being, in the world between worlds, as it were, with King's dad, you got the Collector being confused by death, and then King immediately going fucking berserker, which is adorable, but not going to do much. And when Collector goes to Ida and goes, I don't understand, and Ida's just like, listen, you need to back away because I'm so fucking angry right now. And then and then turns into the Owl Beast, but not just the Owl Beast, the fucking ragest of ragest Owl Beasts, Beast.
6 wings and everything.
Yeah, like she's like. By the way, Beast Owl Beast, not Harpy Lady Ida. And they just go to town. Like it's a valiant effort, but we all know that the two of them aren't going to do anything to Belos. And we also cut away to basically Luz's spirit is what I've dubbed it, but it's really unclear. Just dropping in random places over the Boiling Isles, including with Amity and Co and Camila. And Camila's doll starts crying, implying that she knows what's happened.
Yeah, and the last bit of Luz's soul is the bit that Collector is holding on to.
Until he lets go.
Yeah, and that's when he lets go. That's the last piece that goes into the world between worlds and turns into Luz's body in the Gooper pool.
Yeah. But yeah, you got it right. Luz comes back. She's a furry now.
Yeah, she is.
There was a lot of.
She got horns. She got skeleton claw legs. She's got really fluffy hair. She got Fang, the other side of Ida's.
Yeah, like
great.
This is a character I'd love to like ruffle the hair of because I think it would be nice and fluffy. But yeah, we get Luz being demon mode. Ida immediately reverts back to being Ida upon seeing Luz is alive, and King calms the fuck down. And it's just like Luz has to take very quick assessment of the situation, and it's just like, it's not good. And then she looks over at the crown on the Titan's head, and it's like, that's where everyone in the fucking world is because they're toys. I don't know what to do. And Collector seals their face turn.
Yeah, by going to help.
Yeah,
and the rest of the squad are there going, oh yeah, the Collector's helping, cool. We don't need our own magic to get people to live, because they did it on Camila, and Camila says, yeah, you're exhausted, you're not going to be able to use your own magic. The actual reason is that all of the Titans' magic is in Luz at the moment.
Is that the reason? Because I thought the witch's bile sac on their heart is what created witch magic. It's only Luz that needed Titan blood. The connection to the Titan to use her glyphs, because when she fucks off before the time skip, she can't use her glyphs anymore, but they're still teaching magic in the Boiling Isles, which implies, there's no connection.
Sure. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Camila is correct then, that they're all just exhausted, they're not slept in days, but yeah, they can still use glyphs while the Titan magic is still there, and at the end of the fight, it's gone away. But before we get to the end of the fight, we've got the fight. All three of them, are most of it takes place within a ball that Luz makes of basically created entirely out of Titan magic, so it's immune to the Collector if he was to try and go against them, but it's an equal force to what Belos has, because he's using the body of the Titan and Luz is using the mind, soul, and language of the Titan.
Yeah, the spirit.
And yeah, that's another one of the callbacks is if they're going to deal one final blow, they need to do it to where all magic comes from the heart.
Yes, because that's where the bile sac is.
Yeah, and also where Rain is.
They again, this is why I fucking love Rain, because Rain can't see anything because they haven't got their glasses on. They got knocked off, which understandable. The moment they're back on, they're instantly relieved because it's like, oh my god, Ida, I love you, and then it cuts to everything.
Yeah, we get to this is the first actual kisses we get to see as well, don't we? Between Rain and Ida.
Do they kiss?
Yeah. Well, I think it's more like a forehead kiss, but Ida gives Rain 6 kisses.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, Rain gets released and they're immediately I don't really know what's going on. And then it's like, oh, we're going to fucking kick the shit out of Belos. And Rain immediately picks up their fiddle, or violin if you like, whatever. And it's just like, cool, I'm down for kicking ass. Which is one of the best fucking traits a character can have.
Yeah, Rain joins the final party. Yeah. Yeah, I think this was a good episode for Rain in particular.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's not something that you would have expected when you were first introduced to Rain, that they were going to be one of the final 4.
But they're purposefully deceptive even on their first appearance, because they're all timid and shit, and secretly they're running a shadow organization.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like if Palpatine was a good guy.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, the fight is it's pretty one-sided because Luz is incredibly good at using her combination of glyphs, which is something she's been doing all the time, and now she's got ultimate glyphs, and eventually she runs out of glyph power. She knows when she's running out because the one on her chest just shows the battery remaining, and she basically turns all of the corrupted tree goop into cool autumn leaves.
Yeah, and this
is spread throughout the Boiling Isles.
And then she just straight up fucking grabs Belos and starts yanking him off the heart.
Yeah. And for the actual Bellows finale, we've got him turning into Philip again, saying, "Oh, you freed me. You saved me from dark magic. Yes, that'll do."
Like, he's not quite that transparent. In fact, he does a pretty convincing job as far as, like, acting. But everybody who's been paying attention knows it's bullshit, including Luz.
Yeah, you just see this deadpan, really, dude, expression that she's got on her face. It's great.
Like, the only reason Philip / I'm going to call him Philip at this point because that's who he is. He only drops his facade when the boiling rain starts falling and it starts melting him. And again, I cannot stress this enough. It is incredibly therapeutic, I want to say is the word, that Luz never turns into a killer.
Yeah, because she even claims herself, like, obviously it's a bit of a Good Witch Azura quote, but I am Luz the human, child of the human realm, trained in the demon realm, and a warrior of peace. And she cements it with this, like, she's, like you said before, not wanting to kill you doesn't mean I have to help you.
Yeah, I'm not going to kill you, but that doesn't mean I have to save you, which is a trope that doesn't get used often enough. And again, I appreciate that it's immediately sandbagged by curb stomping, but, you know, Luz never crosses that line, and I think that's important.
Yeah. and yeah, we get to the finale, which we've been foreshadowing for the entire time. This is the other side of the what we could have had sandwich, but this does seem like something that would have just been the finale, because this would have been the finale either way, even if we had a longer season, I believe.
Yeah, I think
maybe it would have gone down differently, but
I think the moment of meeting King's dad to the ending would have probably been the final episode anyway. Maybe they would have split that in two. Maybe they would have had King's dad be a bit more prominent, but honestly, the show doesn't need it. The show, I can't believe they managed to wrap up the show as adequately as they did. I'll put it this way.
Yeah, totally.
They had a lot of plot threads to fucking juggle.
Yeah, and they had basically 2 hours to do it all.
About 2.5, but yeah, close enough.
Yeah. So yeah, we have the finale. We get to see Luz has grown up a bit. It's now her 18th birthday. She's about to go off to college. She has picked all of the magics. I didn't see all of them, but I did see that thaumaturgy was one of them.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it's just a bunch of magic style things that they're specifically not the way that Coven magic was taught, which is telling.
Yeah, so let's. I just want to draw another parallel to Amphibia very quick, in that Amphibia had about a 10-year time skip, whereas the Owl House has a 4-year time skip, which is not a lot of time, but at the same time, it kind of is, considering they had to rebuild a world.
Yeah, they rebuilt the world, and all of the kid characters that we've been following are now adults.
Yeah.
Very young adults, but still adults.
Yeah, well, assuming everybody is Luz's age means everyone's 18, which is enough time for a growth spurt, which means character design changes.
Yeah.
Which, oh my god, Gus gets the best glow up.
Yeah, he does.
Gus looks like a real human now instead of a weird in-between design.
Yeah, he did look like an elf more than anyone else.
His proportions were off, and I don't know how. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't tell you pinpoint what it was that was off, but something was off.
I guess so, yeah. But we get like little insights. Hunter is now a talisman carver, and he's giving the one that he's carving right now to Warden Wrath's child.
Yeah, and he's got a new talisman for himself, which is just a slightly bigger flapjack that's blue.
Yeah.
And we pan the camera a little bit. We see the vampire queen, Bat Queen, whatever you want to call her, and Ida's dad just in the background.
Yeah, Dell's there. He's got a monocle on the eye that's still good.
Yeah. So it's implied that this is how Hunter learnt the trade.
Yeah, totally. And like the Bat Queen is very much all for talisman finding good homes by this point.
Yeah. I want to rewind a little bit because we skipped over one of the best scenes, and that is the reunions of you got Gus finding his dad and Gus doing that cute little illusion trick until he finds the right Gus and they hug. Rillo finds her dad's and they have a little cuddle and a kiss, and it's adorable. Hunter's being broody, and Luz just says, and we found our sometimes we found people we didn't realise cared for us so much, and it just cuts to Darius smiling and giving him a little head rustle, and I'm like, yeah, Darius, adopt that motherfucker. And of course Amity and the other two Blights, Amira and Edric, found Alador, and it's a really weird scene where Alador's hugging his kids and Odelia's off to the side just with her arms crossed and looking mean.
Yeah, Like, it's pretty obvious that she knows she fucked up and she threw away what could have been a family life, but it was one that she never seemed to have wanted anyway.
But it's rather telling that, like, I'm sure if Odalia tried in that moment to reunite with the family, the emotions were high enough that they could have kickstarted something. And I think it's telling that she didn't even bother trying.
Yeah. It's something that you need in fiction for kids. You need bad parents now and again to show that not all parents are perfect now.
I mean, shit, I'm willing to gamble that about at least 50% of people have had shitty parents.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows that one kid at school whose parents did things that, I'm not saying crimes, but crimes.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
That person
Adults
doesn't take...
kids who got tall.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And it's just like, how come every time we change for PE, you got that one kid who doesn't take his shirt off because he's got bruises in weird places?
Yeah.
I'm not saying Odalia was violent, but she was certainly emotionally abusive.
Which is, those are scars that you can't see.
Yeah, which means no one will ever believe you. Let's get back to the happier side of the epilogue, shall we?
Yeah, let's shall. Principal Bump has got his begonias.
Bump deserves a fucking happy retirement, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Ida is the new headmaster.
Nope, she started a different school.
Oh yeah, a different school. Okay.
It's the Wild...
Bad Girl School.
Wild Witch. It's the School for Wild Magic, I believe is what it's called. And and she runs it with Rain, and Gus teaches human studies there.
Yeah, including how to look at a paperclip.
I did not expect to laugh so much at a fucking paperclip. Oh, we also see that, hey, you know how Ida has Harpy mode? Lilith has it too as well.
Yeah, Lilith has got her Crow mode, Crow Harpy, and it's a lot more toned down because she doesn't need that much extra help, especially since she has Hootie on her back at the same time as well. And if her Harpy mode fails, then Hootie can just, helicopter.
I think the implication may be that, as we know, Lilith has always been the harder working of the two. I think it's probably implied that she's just studied it for longer and therefore has a bit more of a grasp on it. Because we brought this up in season 2 when we saw the flashback episodes, and pretty much anything involving Lilith and Ida, is Ida's always been gifted in that Ida can just do shit. And while Lilith isn't bad at anything, she's always had to work for it.
Yeah, she's had to work harder to be as strong and a lot of the time slightly stronger than her younger sister. And when it comes to learning glyphs, Lilith is the prodigy student because she actually wants to learn.
And also she knows how to learn. She knows how to study because she's always had to do it.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to that thing which I always harp on about, and I know, I'm sorry, I'm a broken record, of if you were... Anyone who was gifted in secondary school or primary school will have had a similar experience, and that is, oh, you can just do this. Well done. Good job. I don't need to spend any time teaching you because you already know how to do it. What a good little student you are. And then you get a bit older and you encounter something that you can't do straight away, and you get frustrated and angry, and you're like, I'll never be able to do this. I give up, because you've never had to learn.
Yeah, like that hit me really hard. Like there's a very obvious brick wall that I hit at some point during my education where you can see grades go from really good to acceptable to not great, and the acceptable and not great averaged out at okay, which is okay for getting into universities. But yeah, the only good grades I've got to show for myself are GCSEs, which, they're not the hardest thing to do in the world, but you still have to work for them to some degree.
I mean,
whereas A-levels, you really do have to work for it.
I'm in a bit of a shit position, Rick, because I'm one of those lucky people who doesn't test well. I suck at exams, and that's just a fact. Like,
sure.
Unless I've got a multiple choice thing, but anyone can fucking do multiple choice, because even if you don't know the answer, you got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. But it's just, if I sit down and have to write answers and poke my brain, my brain just melts. And meanwhile, if you want me to write an essay, I'm fucking great. I could write all the essays in the world, no problem. But exams, I shit the bed. It's a real weird thing. I don't know if you ever get taught how to sit exams or if I've just got a stupid brain, but either way, exams, I just melt.
Yeah, I mean the number one thing of exams is read the fucking question. If you are told do one of these and you end up doing them all, then you didn't read that you only had to do one of them. That's a very obvious thing that everyone has encountered at some point. And if you have mock exams during your normal school career, that's something that you'll learn pretty quickly. I
mean, you saying read the question, how many times have I said that while playing Trivial Pursuit with a certain someone?
Yeah, totally.
With it just okay, I know there's a time limit, but the time limit's not that restrictive. You can read, and then sometimes
you can read it faster than they speak it.
Sometimes you've also got the odd scenario of, hey, also read the answers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just read everything. Trivial Pursuit on the in video game form is by definition multiple choice.
Yes.
In real life, it's a bit more open-ended. Like, if someone's asking the question and everyone else is answering it, then people can just get it wrong off their own back.
Yeah.
But when you've got the right answers there and you can pick it, it's...
I don't know if you ever played Trivial Pursuit, the board game, but the cards do come with questions and a list of answers.
Do they? Okay.
Like, because there was that famous one of which of these 4 actors has never played Batman, and, sod's law, because of the way time works, all 4 of those actors have now played Batman. The odd one out was Ben Affleck, but obviously he's played Batman now.
Yep.
So that question is fucked, because... Although obviously the solution would be the person who's reading the question just fucking replaces Ben Affleck with a different actor when they read the answers, but not everyone's got common sense.
We got the similar one when we were playing of who's not had a football award, and Messi was one of them, one of the answers.
Who's not won a World Cup? However, the silver lining there is the person being asked a question didn't know the guy had the World Cup by now anyway, so it's kind of a moot point.
But yeah, more in the finale. We got the actual post-credits scene of... Oh yeah, sorry, shit, we haven't talked about Amity. Amity is now an explorer.
Wait, is she?
Yeah, she's got a dirigible and everything.
What the fuck is that?
A blimp.
Oh!
An abomination blimp.
Oh, I didn't think she was an explorer. I thought she was just transporting stuff for her dad.
Okay, I thought she was an explorer because she looked cool.
Oh, your answer's way cooler. That's fine. Speaking of Amity, her dad, Alador, has been working on a device to get rid of coven seals, and...
yes.
It seems to have worked, and Darius is in the background applauding, and I don't care. My headcanon is those two are a couple now.
Yeah, so what the thing that makes it ambiguous for me is that when Darius gets really excited, he catches himself and starts blushing, but Alador basically has no reaction. And both of these are kind of in character, even if they are in a relationship now.
Alador is definitely autistic and may not show his fucking emotions very well. And I'm not using that in a derogatory sense, that's just a fact.
Yeah, Alador is pretty much a non-sexual being, apart from the fact that he has 3 kids.
I don't know if he's non-sexual. I just, again, he hyperfixates on things, and those things tend to be, his research and
or a butterfly that one time.
But that's what I'm saying. He'll find something and he gets interested. And Odalia's method of fixing him on the right thing is to destroy things that he fixes on that aren't the thing she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, that butterfly.
Yeah,
got fucked.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, again, most important to note, Odalia does not show up in any of these post-credit sequences, apart from looking like a sourpuss during the reunion scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, little bitch.
I choose to believe that Darius and Alador are a thing. However, it's certainly open-ended enough that you can fucking come up with whatever fucking ending you want with these characters.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, we actually get the super finale. Oh, shit. We do see Hunter again with Willow, and they go to Flapjack's grave.
True, Willow makes some pretty flowers appear around it.
And that's basically all we see of Willow. So we get 2 lots of Hunter, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because he needed a bone throwing.
Yeah, and he certainly threw a bone. Waha!
Giggity.
I'm sorry, you set it up. But yeah, let's go to the post...
Giggity.
Giggity.
The actual post-credits.
Giggity goo. Yeah. But come on, I just want to say it, man. King Sierra is a great fucking pun.
It is. King's now a bit taller. V sends Albert around the Boiling Isles, and that's how we get to see the other ones, because Albert is going around telling everybody.
Yep. By the way, the Nosaders have bought the abandoned shack that is now basically just straight up a portal to the Demon Realm. And how is it a portal, Rick?
Because I think, doesn't the Collector just make one for it?
The Collector has made a new door, so they no longer have to rely on Titan blood.
Mm-hmm.
And when the door opens, you have the Collector going, "Welcome to the Boiling Isles!"
Yeah. Which it's unclear as to whether it's programmed to do that or whether it is actually the Collector saying it each time.
Because of
both are equally plausible.
Because of the I want to say because of the omnipotency of the Collector, I wouldn't be surprised if like every time the door opens, a part of his brain just pings and he just starts talking.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, at the King Sierra, everyone is there. King is taller. He shows Luce that he has his own glyphs now. They're different from the ones that she learned, but now that he's bigger, more powerful, and basically able to power glyph magic more, that it can now be done. And now Luce can do more than just blast from string bean.
Well, Ida straight up says it when she comes through the portal in that, hey, congratulations, kid, you've got a whole new Titan language to work out.
Yeah.
That being said, the only reason I noticed King was bigger is because Ida mentioned it, because he doesn't look that much bigger to me.
No, he doesn't. Like, he's a bit more fuzzy, I think, is what makes him look different. But yeah, he doesn't look that much taller, but he's more fuzzy, which means that he's like he's like preteen at this point, I believe.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
In terms of development, yeah. But yeah, then we get Lilith has followed Camilla's instruction to the letter and put her own spin on it in preparing for the Quinceañera.
Including a cake made of bugs.
Like, yeah. Wasn't it Steve that cut into it and all the bugs went into his mouth?
Yeah, and he just started smiling. Yeah. Man, I want to rewind a little bit because we did skip over something in that Camilla and Ida both met for the first time just after the final battle.
Yeah.
And Ida and Luz are hugging, and then Luz is like, "Oh, Mama, this is Ida," and Ida's like, "Hi," and Camilla doesn't even question it, and there's just a group hug, and it's adorable.
Yeah, it is. And we get to see that Ida isn't that much taller than Camilla. She's not like the 9-foot tall monster that we thought she was.
Hey, I never thought she was that tall. I just thought her hair was big.
Well, fair enough.
Like,
well, it's one of those where
I literally was working on Vegeta logic.
Yeah, because Ida looks that much taller than Luz, and Camilla doesn't. It makes us think that witches actually do just naturally grow to be a lot taller.
I never thought that.
But okay, maybe it's just me that thought that. But yeah, we get they all pose for the super finale.
Hunter very timidly wraps his arm around Willow, and then Willow just fucking forcefully pulls him close.
Yeah. Yeah, she's lifted. The Collector does one last little nice thing, which is a bunch of fireworks and shooting stars.
Yeah.
And then it pans out to the final word of the series. Bye!
Yeah. What did I... No, that's... No, ignore me. I was about to say the Crooniverse, but that's fucking Steven Universe. Which, by the way, did you know Rebecca Sugar Brother works on the Owl House?
I did not.
Yeah, I went on a wiki deep dive, as I occasionally do, and first of all, Steven Universe was loosely based on Steven Sugar, Rebecca Sugar's brother, and then when I clicked on his wiki page, he's a background artist for the Owl House, and I was like, oh, fuck!
Yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah, shit, we forgot the bread pun. So the bread pun is, I loaf you.
Yes, and we only learn it because, as you say, King repeats it and then bursts out laughing.
Yeah.
It does suck a little bit that King never got a face-to-face with Pop, but it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Like, in universe, it makes a lot of sense because, he wasn't the one that was nearly dead. You don't want to kill a child, and...
I mean, I know Luz is 14, but to me, that's still kid territory.
Okay, but teen, I think, is different to, literal to child.
I don't know, man. That distinction gets more blurrier the older I get, and to me, anyone under the age of fucking 20 is a kid, so you know.
Oh, totally.
Whenever I see a news article that so-and-so lost their life and they're 20 years old, and I'm like, that's a kid.
Yeah. A tall kid, but still a kid.
I don't know, man. I don't think people, fuck it. I'm not going to get into the fucking deep dives of my stupid fucking logic. Just know that, hey, if you're under the age of 20, I look at you and I see kid. No offence.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the season and the end of the series. And there is doorway open for fan fiction because there are other things to do in the Boiling Isles. But yeah, that's all Disney will allow.
Well, here's the thing: is Dana went on Twitter saying quite often that she would love to have a comic book series, and whether it's continued adventures in the Boiling Isles, whether it's like prequels where we get to see young Ida and Rain, or even some adventures we didn't get to see on camera because Disney said no more TV. I'd fucking buy it. I've bought comics with dumber premises.
Yeah, totally. Like the Adventure Time comics are pretty much that.
I know I've never picked up Adventure Time comics, but I get what you're saying. I used to fucking read the Beano. I my standard for comics are low.
Yeah. Man, I've got a couple of Beanos around the house.
I mean, I never went off the Beano and the Dandy. They went to digital, and I went, I'm not paying fucking £3 for digital comics.
No. But yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. So, from the final episode, do you have a favourite moment?
I already said it, King's dad. That entire scene, great, loved it, highlight of the episode for me.
Yeah, totally.
I will admit I am biased as fuck, because again, I saw King's dad wearing the Bad Witch Coven shirt, and looking like basically an out-of-shape old man, and I'm like, that's me! A cooler version of me, but still me.
Yeah.
And also, they ended the scene with that really heavy metal shot of King's dad's skeleton. And again, all of the skeletal shots in this episode were heavy metal album covers. Fight me.
Yes, totally. Like, it really shows that as a Titan, with his magic, he is almost certainly a size shifter, and, like, took the largest form possible for when he died and became the Boiling Isles, but probably was a lot smaller a lot of the time.
I don't know, it's unclear. I think you can certainly run with that interpretation, but I don't know, because bear in mind, his skeleton got incredibly large after he quote-unquote died for real, so I don't know.
Incredibly large, but not Boiling Isles large.
Yeah, but that's because of the limits of the shot.
True.
But hey, I also want to put I want to draw to attention, like, could you imagine the art style of this show if it wasn't a Disney show?
Oh man, yeah. Oh man, totally.
It does feel like they snuck those metal shots in.
Like, Amity would be even more of a goth GF if it was any other art style.
Wasn't really what I was going for, but sure.
It's just the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, fucking telling. What about you, Rick? What was your favourite moment?
My favourite moment was when Luce was basically doing the, not so much the killing blow, but the decisive blow to Belos of, I am Luce the Human, child of the human realm, raised by the Boiling Isles, and warrior of peace. Now eat this, sucker! I think that was just, like, possibly the most lovingly animated shot of the entire episode, and it helped that Luce was in her Titan form.
Certainly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that was mine. But are we going to do a weakest link for this?
We could do a weakest link, but we're both going to say the same thing, and that is, like, Disney fucking handicapping the runtime. You know, like, even if they were giving, like, they didn't even get a proper final third season. It was capped to 3 episodes. Let's be generous and say 6 episodes worth of time. It wasn't. It was a bit less than that, but we'll be generous and say it was 6. You know, not exactly fair. And I bet you there's at least one executive kicking himself, going, "Oh fuck, this shit is more popular than I thought it was."
Yeah, like, they've got 2 views out of me on YouTube alone.
Oh, fucking break the bank.
Oh yeah, yeah. But, like, on release day, the more views you get on release day, the better. Like, that's how the algorithm works.
No, I know, but, like, 2 views is not breaking the bank, Rick.
Oh, totally. But, like, most people would only see things once, for instance.
Fair enough.
Like, if it weren't for me, you know, sneaking watching it on my own before seeing it with my folks, then I would likely have only watched it once. Maybe again for, like, a bit of research for the retro, but even then, it's probably the kind of thing that I'd want to come back to later. Just watch all 3 back to back.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do that at some point. I'm probably going to do a rewatch of The Owl House, though, because I'm about halfway through a rewatch of Amphibia. By the way, when I rewatch things, I don't watch them 100% them. I do them in the background while doing other things, because, you know.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, you can, okay, you don't have a second monitor, but you can just, like, stick it on in the background, tab in when you know something cool's going to happen, and just generally treat it like a radio drama. I mean, because the voice acting's good.
I mean, you're right, I don't have a second screen, but I do have a TV.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot that TV was a thing.
Yeah, the privileged few who can have a PC.
So yeah, I'd say for my weakest link, building off, Disney cut it short. The fact that we weren't able to see more Lumity.
Oh, I don't care about that. Like, we got enough of it.
Well, you say that. I really would have liked to see Amity's reaction to Luce's Titan form.
Yeah, that would have been cute, but that looks like that wasn't on the cards full stop, because as we said...
Yeah, they were in separate places at the time in the story. But we can't talk about the bad too much, because we both adore this show, if that's not been made blatantly clear. So, from the final episode, do you have an MVP?
Lose.
Yeah. Like, as much as anyone else could have a claim to it, Ida putting in the work, King putting in the work, Rain putting in the work, even King's dad doing the final sacrifice, everything boils down to Luce.
You know what? Joint award, Luce and Dana Terrace.
Yeah. For being able to put this much heart into something that was very much bittersweet on behalf of Disney.
Yeah, like, I remember a month and a half ago, she straight up shared an image on Twitter of her clean desk with nothing on it, and her fucking name badge saying, like, yep, this is it, I'm gone from Disney now.
Yep. I really hope that someone who loves animation is able to give her another chance to make something just as beautiful as has been.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because unfortunately, the reality is, and you and I both know this because we follow news pretty closely, it's a real shit time to be an animator, or rather work with animation.
Yeah. What we need is, like, a good billionaire.
Well, okay, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, I know, right? We need someone like Dolly Dolly Parton, but for animation instead of books.
I guess. I don't know, man. But the whole industry needs to be reformed.
Yeah, totally.
It's like the game. It's like the game industry in that people who go into the industry are passionate and they want to do their thing, and the industry will go like, yes, come join us, and then squeeze every ounce of passion out of you until you're a soulless husk.
Yeah, because it's an industry that has enjoyed infinite growth for quite some time and has done so by incrementally exploiting its people more and more.
Well, because again, when you first join in on the bottom rung, you're happy to be exploited because you're working your dream job in your dream industry.
For your dream company a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because, rose-tinted spectacles are a thing.
But yeah, on that sour note, I think we're about done on the Owl House Season 3. How the fuck have we spoken about it for unedited length of time, 2 hours, for 3 episodes? It should be telling. That's almost as long as the episodes themselves.
Yes, totally. Well, it's because we were able to not nitpick, go over certain details with fine-tooth combs and pick out little things that take maybe a third of a second of screen time. But yeah, so if you like the episode, you got the comment section down on YouTube. If you're listening via one of the audio platforms, you have the email address, which would go to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yeah, so it's going to be a goodbye from me.
And it's going to be a goodbye from me. Unfortunately, unless something radical happens in the downtime, this is it. The Owl House is over. It joins the illustrious company of Gravity Falls and Amphibia.
Yeah. Bye!